Hello everyone, this is Derek Smith from Comprehensive Credit Repair coming to you with another credit repair tip. Today I'm going to talk about getting late payments deleted just like the pros do. So if you want professional results, you need to work like the professionals do. The reason some people think writing a letter to have a late payment deleted doesn't work is because their letters are all wrong. They tell too much and they end up verifying their late payment to the creditor, which is exactly the opposite of what they wanted to do. Or they ask for too much all at once and then wonder why they got denied. If you dispute all your unwanted items in one letter, you set yourself up for one massive rejection. The credit bureaus will likely label your claim as frivolous and toss it out. People who do that then whine credit repair doesn't work, but it does work when you do it properly. If you want professional results, don't write an amateur's letter. Point made. So let's talk about different scenarios and how to handle those scenarios because there's no one-size-fits-all letter. Let's talk about what to do if you have an uncharacteristic late payment. So if you have a perfect credit score of 850 and then get one 30-day late payment, your score will plummet by 175 points down to 675. This extreme example shows how severely you can get punished for a new late payment. It is worse than having a bankruptcy that is 4 years old because an old bankruptcy is a thing of the past, whereas a new late payment could be the start of your financial disaster as far as the bureaus are concerned. If you have excellent credit with only one late payment, then that is considered to be an uncharacteristic late. Anyone can read your report and see that you're not the type of person who is chronically late with your payments. There's one blemish, one derogatory late, and that appears to be unusual for you. So there are two ways that you can handle this situation. You can dispute the late payment with the credit bureau and point out, I pay all my creditors on time, as you can see from my report. My credit is very important to me, and I take pride in having perfect credit. This late payment shown on this account is an error. Please kindly delete this at once because it is my legal right to have an accurate credit file. Notice the tone of what I just said for this letter. It reads like a nice person who expects to be treated nicely in return. I suggest handwriting a letter like this to make it even more personal. If your handwriting is legible, it will increase your chances of having the late payment deleted because it makes you look like the person you say you are, a very nice private person who has just discovered a mistake as opposed to someone who has hired a service to remove a list of derogatory items. Second, you can write to the creditor that shows the late payment. If you take this approach, whatever you do, you must not admit that you were late. If you do, you can shoot yourself in the foot. The person reading your letter might be one of those legalistic types who has no common sense or no sense of giving grace to good people, so you cannot take that chance. First, increase your chances of success by taking the time to get the name and the correct spelling of the individual who handles customer complaints. Don't be lazy and write a dear sir or dear madam letter because your letter could get shuffled into the wrong hands and get ignored. Take one shot and aim at the bullseye. You can find the name of the person to write to on the company website. If you cannot locate it, then do a Google search for the company name plus file a complaint. By taking the time to locate the proper individual and to write a letter addressed personally to that person, I have had great success with the letters written for my clients. Write a letter that says this. Listen closely. I'm going to use my own company's name for the example. I'm a long-standing customer of Comprehensive Credit Repair, and I've always appreciated the good value and service I've received from Comprehensive Credit Repair. Recently, in reviewing my annual credit report, I was surprised to see a late payment show up. Surely, this must be a mistake. As you can see from my payment history, I have a perfect record of paying on time. I would like to remain an active customer of Comprehensive Credit Repair and would be happy to do so as soon as we can get this matter cleared up. Will you kindly send me confirmation that this erroneous late payment has been corrected and deleted from my credit report? Now, insert the name of the company or the store as often as I did in my example when I said Comprehensive Credit Repair. Companies like to see their own name in print, so spell out the name rather than replace it with a pronoun. You probably heard me say the statement, I would like to remain an active customer of Comprehensive Credit Repair and would be happy to do so as soon as we get this matter cleared up. This is a powerful statement. It is non-threatening, and yet it says in no uncertain terms that your business with this company is put on hold until the late payment is gone. The vast majority of companies will respond positively to this request and delete the late payment. And why not? You're a good customer. They want to continue to receive your business, and it is 100% legal. Everybody ends up happy. However, if it happens that your letter does not receive the normal cooperative response, then move to the next step. Don't give up and say it didn't work. You wouldn't expect a professional credit specialist to give up after one try, and neither should you. For your next step, you can request a complete debt validation, which will require them to pull information out of their archives. Or you can take a different approach. You can bypass the creditor and write to the credit bureau instead. Next is throw those goodwill letters in the trash. There are websites and amateurs who tell you to write a goodwill letter to the creditor asking them to remove your late payment because you're a good, nice person and they're a good, nice company. And therefore, they should be good and nice and forgive your late payment and tell the credit bureaus to delete it as well. To this syrupy sweet goodwill, you are to add the reason for your late payment, which is a hardship to pull on their heartstrings. The suggested letter goes something like this. I've been a loyal customer of your store for a long time. Last summer my mother came down with pneumonia and almost died. I had to take time off work to care for her. During this time I accidentally missed a payment. Please grant me grace and goodwill and remove this one-time late payment. I realize I need to be more careful and I will never be late again. Let me tell you, perhaps goodwill letters like that worked back in the 1980s, but they don't work today. No one is deleting a late payment because you write a sad story, which is possibly fiction as far as they're concerned. The creditor will respond by saying, sorry, but the law requires us to report the truth, which, by the way, is a half lie. To make matters worse, you've admitted your guilt of being late in writing. You will now have to live with this black mark on your report for 7 years. Listen to reason. The professional credit repair specialists do not use goodwill letters, and neither should you. There are entire forums where people discuss sending goodwill letters and how they aren't working for them. First, they get put on the waiting game while an investigation takes place. Then they get a letter back similar to this one from Chase received by a young man who had sent a goodwill letter. Listen to this. It said, thank you for contacting Chase. I appreciate this opportunity to assist you with your request to remove the late payment remarks from your credit bureau report for the account ending in XXX. I would like to assure you that your satisfaction is important to us. I have researched all available options to see if the late remark could be removed, but unfortunately we are unable to remove the late payment information reported in your credit report for this account. To make exceptions would not be equitable to our other card members. Derogatory information is reported when an account is more than 30 days delinquent. The Fair Credit Reporting Act requires the bank to accurately report all information regarding a customer's account history. To preserve the integrity of the credit reporting system, we are unable to alter valid information reporting to the credit reporting agencies. We sincerely apologize that we are unable to meet your expectations concerning this matter. If you have any other further questions, please reply using the Secure Message Center. Sincerely, Customer Support Specialist. So, after this discouraging response, the young male emailed the CEO. An executive responded by saying that they could not make any changes because the record was accurate. So not only was it a waste of his time, but now he cannot dispute it with the credit bureaus because Chase has it verified in writing from him that he was in fact late. So here's an important note for you. Forget the goodwill letter. If you have one uncharacteristic late, use that fact to support your claim that you were never late and the error is theirs. If you have a series of late payments, it's highly unlikely that the creditor is going to erase them all in one fell swoop just because you asked. Chances are they're already more than a little miffed about not getting paid on time as agreed. You've cost them extra money by the loss of revenue and by making them spend time and postage chasing down the payment you owe. So if you write and say, hey, will you delete my 90-day late payment, they're likely to respond with a big forget about it. So how do we pros get these deep late payments off? We do it gradually, one step at a time. That's our secret recipe. First, we challenge the 90-day late payment without saying anything about the 60-day late or the 30-day late. We contend that you might have been 89 days late, but you were never 90 days late, and that this severe late payment is penalizing your credit score more than it should. We remind them that the Fair Credit Reporting Act makes it illegal to report false information, so the 90-day mark must be removed. Then after that success, we challenge the 60-day late payment, and finally the 30-day late payment. This is why it takes us more time to clear up credit with deep delinquencies. We don't get a 90-day late payment deleted all at once in 30 days. And the people who claim to repair all credit fast are making false claims. They're baiting you with the promise of fast and then switching you to the time true method later on, which is actually dishonest. Personally, I would never work with or recommend a service that promises fast or quick results because that is not the reality for most people. Instead of looking for someone who promises fast, you should look to someone like me who's an honest professional who promises persistence. This step-by-step gradual process has been used by professional credit repair services for decades. The law allows consumers to challenge a creditor's reports. The law requires transparency. Most companies don't have meticulous records handy, and going back into archives take time and money. They would rather delete a late payment than pay someone to take the time to prove it. Well, what if a disaster caused your late payment? Let's say you were kidnapped at gunpoint and you're thrown in a cave for 90 days, that could be a sympathetic reason for being late. But even if you could write a story like that, many creditors will still deny your request to delete the late payment. They'll say something like, hey, we're sorry you were kidnapped, but you should have set up auto pay to prevent being late. Their thinking is that it's not their fault you were kidnapped, so they shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of not getting paid as agreed. This is why you shouldn't bother writing about your hospital stay, your fight with cancer, the hurricane that hit your house, the bad divorce, or any other disaster. If you do, you are admitting that you were in fact late, which only hurts you even more. There was one person who said her late payments were due to being a victim of the terrorist attack on 9/11. She wrote a letter explaining this, fully expecting to receive cooperation from the creditor. It didn't work. Don't count on a creditor having a human heart. Don't ask for sympathy. The approach that works is the approach I already told you about that says, I am innocent and you have posted false information, which federal law requires you to correct. That is the approach that we professionals use and the approach that you should use as well. Look, as you can see, fixing your credit is difficult, but I'm a pro at it and I can do it for you. So if you need help with your credit, go over to www.comprehensivecreditrepair.com and sign up for my service. It's very affordable. And also when you sign up for my service, I give you a free vacation to one of 51 locations of your choice. So don't waste any time. Go over now to www.comprehensivecreditrepair.com and sign up today. I'll see you in the next video.